Brian Slawin is Director and Portfolio Manager, Ben Franklin Technology Partners, Central and Northern Pennsylvania. He joins us here this morning. Brian, how are you?
Well, it's great to see you.
Great to see you.
Your audience probably doesn't know that we do this on Zoom, and typically we don't light up our cameras, but today we have.
Yes. Well, I know the TV crowd will love it, so everybody meet Brian if you haven't seen him before on the show. Brian, good to see you.
This is great. Thank you so much for having us back, Luke.
I'll tell you, it's been a busy start to the year. I can't believe we're wrapping up 2 full months here in this new year.
I know it's really exciting, and as you would expect, and especially because it's been a low snow year for us in Northwest Pennsylvania, I've been driving around and meeting people, and I got all kinds of stuff to share with you and your audience. It's an exciting first couple of months for the Ben Franklin Technology Partners.
Well, let's get into it. What do you have for us?
Well, right now, we are in week 7 of our 10-week Techcelerator Boot Camp. So for those of you that will be near to Erie on March 20th, it's a Wednesday, March 20th, we're having our graduation and pitch night in our offices in Knowledge Park, which, as everyone knows, is pretty close to Barron, Penn State Barron. So you're all invited to come see 8 of the newest, coolest, most awesome companies throughout Northwest Pennsylvania as they complete their boot camp training and pitch for $15,000, free drinks, free food, free fun, free frivolity. It's a great time. That's Wednesday the 20th, and it starts around 3:30 or so in Knowledge Park.
That's fantastic. That's exciting.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of work goes into that. I don't think people realize for some it could be years of coming up with an idea, developing a thought, and working with people to make this stage possible.
Yeah, it's really true. And what's really kind of thrilling is we get to meet these young, and I'm saying young as in young company, not young people necessarily.
Right.
But we get to meet these new founders right at the beginning. Sometimes it's quite literally an idea on a napkin. And so through our Techcelerator program and a couple of other cool things I'm going to mention in just a second, we really help take your idea and turn it into reality. And that's where Ben Franklin can then invest in emerging companies. And we do it all the time. We've got a big check event coming up with Civilink in Warren coming up in early April.
Wow.
So it's really exciting. And not only are we doing the current Techcelerator, again, graduation night is on March 20th, but we're also winding up our next Techcelerator, which applications are now open, and frankly, they're due pretty quick. So if you have an idea and you'd like to see if Ben Franklin can support not only the growth of your company, but potentially invest, you should Google Ben Franklin Techcelerator, and it's the one that starts this spring. So don't be confused that you find one that maybe applications are closed. It's the one that starts this spring, and you apply online. It's all on Zoom. It's super great, and we're getting ready to spin up another Techcelerator.
Is that a common myth you get a lot when you're talking about entrepreneurs or young businesses? That mindset, people think, oh, they must be young, maybe they just got out of school and they're coming up with ideas. But the reality is you might have somebody who's in their 50s or 60s, been working in a job for 30, 40 years, and they go, I kind of have this idea just based off of, working, in the shop, and maybe this is something I want to try.
That is more frequent than not. I would say, well, we know for a fact that the average age of our founders, first-time founders, 47.
Wow.
47, yeah, that's the average age. Obviously, it's skewed on the outliers because there's some super young folks and some super older folks. But 47 is the average age, and these are companies that start literally from an idea on a napkin, exactly as you've described. They they're working somewhere or they're doing something, or maybe it's just part of their life. And they're like, you know what? I'm looking to solve a problem. I can't solve a problem. Maybe I should be the one to bring that idea to the world to solve that problem. And that's how Ben Franklin supports these great new companies. And it's really fun. And it's super exciting when you see people's light bulbs go off.
Oh
It's
yeah.
it's a lot of fun.
It's great to hear those stories too, because you'll hear somebody like, yeah, I've been working in the shop for 40 years, and I just thought there was a different way of doing it, and nobody listened to me, and now I'm trying it and off and running.
Well, my backstory is that's exactly what happened. I was working for a company. Me and my then business, or now then was an employee of mine, but then became my business partner. And I said, we've got a better idea for doing something. And so we presented this idea to the company that we were working for. And they were like, yeah, go away, kid, you bother me. And we're like, well, we're going to go away so far. We're just going to start our own thing. And we did, and it was successful. And we sold it, and I ended up in Pennsylvania is the good ending to that story. But that's really where it happens. I have an issue that I'm trying to solve, and I can't find a commercially available solution to that. So I approach Ben Franklin, or I just get going and I go through their Tech Accelerator program, and they start and they become hopefully successful with our support and the support of the community around them.
That's fantastic.
Yep, we're having a lot of fun. So speaking of other programs, you said we're off to a fast start, and we certainly are. So every month, and it happened yesterday, and I want to share a little bit about that, but every month I am coming down into the Mercer Venango area conducting a program that we call Meet Ben. And even though my name is Brian, it's Meet Ben because it's Ben Franklin. And yesterday I was at the Shenango Launch Box in Sharon, and we had about a dozen folks. And the topic of the day was, how do you meet the people you really want to meet, and then what? So we call it Networking 101. And it's an interactive, people walk around and we do little exercises and things, not exercises where you'll actually break a sweat. I know I would never do that, but practicing the skills that we're learning. So every month I will be conducting the Meet Ben session. Our next session will be at Grove City College. It's always the third Wednesday of every month. And that session will be all about fun with numbers, financials. Ooh. How do you create a pro forma? I know people try really hard, but this is a skill that we all need to learn as business owners, is how to create the pro forma, which is a forward-looking look at your financials, and then how to evaluate how things are going. The one thing we say about pro forma, because people get a little freaked out, it's like, I don't know. It's like, don't worry about it. Here's what we know about pro forma. The second you hit save, it's wrong. So we just don't know if it's wrong on the high side or wrong on the low side. But with experience and time, you get better at it. So that's what we're doing the next one at the Meet Ben program. All you have to do is quite literally Google Meet Ben Shenango, and you'll find the website. You can see the sessions that we have scheduled so far. Every third Wednesday of the month, it's a live in-person event. It occurs around lunch. Bring your lunch. Bring your fun. Looking for fun to learn stuff, and we'll do that. Yesterday was just a blast. I had so much fun meeting like 10 new people. It was really fun.
And by the way, a lot of people, they might not go out and start a business, but maybe they sit on a board and they get the financials passed around and they're voting every month on this stuff and probably have no idea what they're talking about. I was in a meeting this week and some people were like looking at the profit and loss, and the CEO is like, hey, you know what, just we're good, but
don't worry about it.
These are skills that again, even if you're not going out and starting a business, could come in handy.
Well, you bring up a really good point. Obviously, my brain is always towards the entrepreneur and the company, but these are skills that I use to run my household.
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm always looking 6 months ahead from financials, and can we afford to go on the super great vacation, or do we have to do the usual staycation or that sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
So these are just good skills to understand. And specifically this coming month, we'll be on the Grove City College campus. And thank you so much to Yvonne English. She is a rock star. I don't know if anyone knows Yvonne, but man, is she great. And she's just been super helpful. Tom Reese Roberts down in Shenango at the Sharon or the Shenango Launchbox. Again, another great guy. Really supportive of development of entrepreneurs and the entrepreneurial ecosystem around them.
That's right. I was going to ask you a question, and I'm glad you brought that up. Something we've never talked about. We've talked about the struggles of an entrepreneur getting started and getting off and running.
Right.
What are the challenges for those entrepreneurs who need to hire folks and those folks willing to take a risk to work at a startup business?
Such a great question. Well, so first of all, and especially startups, finding talented people to come work for your business, period. Even if it's 100-year-old business that's doing great, that's a massive challenge. We're fortunate in Pennsylvania to have a program called the Pennsylvania Career Link, where you can go and find jobs, and people who are looking to hire people place their jobs there. And they do a lot of other things. Beverly Rapp is the Northwest person. Anyway, Pennsylvania Career Link. But yeah, startups have the extra challenge of, we might be out of business next month, in 6 months. I mean, it is tough. It takes a special kind of a person who is willing to look at the massive potential upside and recognize that it comes with significant risk in the beginning and frankly throughout the life of a startup until they hit product market fit, and then you just apply more gasoline. But yeah, it's a challenge. There's got to be a lot of reasons why you want to work at that particular company. And being the best salesperson, the CEO must be able to communicate the vision and the journey to bring the talent that companies need. But it is a significant opportunity as well as a challenge.
Yeah, I'll mention that in a second. Let's do this. You're watching The Morning Drill on Stream Television and on Armstrong's Neighborhood Channel. Brian Slawin.
Are we on TV?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Hi.
Oh, yeah. No, go ahead. Now you can wave, yeah. Brian Slawin with us here this morning, Director and Portfolio Manager, Ben Franklin Technology Partners. You mentioned the opportunity. What a great way, maybe you're not the person to come up with the ideas, but you can sell the product or you can get behind it.
Yes.
You could eventually become a partner or a co-owner, or there's so many opportunities just within what you said.
Yeah, it's really true. This was my experience in a startup before I started my own startup. Is I just hired on as a hired gun. I was a sales guy. I was an operations guy, but through what's called vetting of equity ownership position, I became a partial owner of that company. And when it's sold, I benefited from that. And you've got to start in the beginning, or at least close to the beginning. You hear or you see some people who say, I was employee number 7 at Apple, or I was employee, number 100 at FedEx, or whatever it might be. Yeah, there's risk, but wow, is there great opportunity.
That's wonderful. Well, yeah. Hey, the other thing I was going to ask you, and I'm sure you probably have some other things you want to mention before we wrap up this morning, but there's a lot going on in Erie. That does ripple out to Crawford, Venango, Mercer, doesn't it?
Yes, sort of. But what I'm privileged to do, Luke, is I get to go to Venango and Mercer and Crawford and see what's actually going on there. So the ripples may go from Erie, but the ripples are coming back from the rest of Northwest Pennsylvania. There's way too many things to mention, but as an example, Allegheny College is absolutely rocking it. They're doing some really, really cool things in Meadville. what's going on in Mercer County. I was there yesterday and looked at the Westinghouse plant, the 1 million square foot Westinghouse plant. Well, they've turned a huge part of that into an what they call an urban agricultural farm,
Oh, wow.
where they grow tilapia fish from little nothings, right, little fries, all the way up to real fish, and they use their their stuff, the thing that come out of tilapia after they eat. They use that, they clean it. I don't know what they do exactly, and then they use that to fertilize indoor farming. And the freshness of this salad stuff that they grow there, lettuce, is it tastes like candy. I mean, it is that good and that healthy
Wow.
for you. So that's going on in Mercer and a bunch of other stuff. Rod Wilt and Penn Northwest. I mean, they're growing an amazing entrepreneurial ecosystem. I'm a huge fan of nearly everything happening in Oil City. What's going on there with the bank building and the other things that are happening. What is it called? Marcy and Aaron's coffee shop.
Oh, Woods and River.
Oh, I mean, if I could go there every day, I'd go there every day. So there's a whole lot of ripples throughout Northwest Pennsylvania. Erie is certainly one, but wow,
Yeah.
is it everywhere else? You know, in Warren County, as an example. Sorry, I'm rambling now.
No, you're
We
good.
just invested into a really great company called Civilink in the city of Warren. Ben Cafferlin, people who might know that name, was a commissioner in Warren for I think 8 years. Anyway, he just started a company designed to help government operate at the speed of business. They're digitally transforming. Right. How frustrating is it sometimes to deal with your local governmental entity when you're just trying to do something simple like getting a dog collar thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so the ripples are everywhere throughout Northwest, and it's a thrill to be part of that.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah, yeah, it really is. I mean, it's really great. And Ben Franklin, through our programs and through our investment, are contributing to that. I will mention that in addition to the Meet Ben program, which I just talked about, and all you have to do is Google Meet Ben Franklin, or Meet Ben Shenango, whichever works easier, and the Tech Accelerator, which is the graduations on March 20th, and our next Tech Accelerator starts right up after that. So go Google Ben Franklin Tech Accelerator, look for the one in the spring, learn about it, apply. We're also partnered with the PA Wilds on a $50,000 big idea contest. So again, Google Ben Franklin, PA Wilds, big idea contest. Your crazy little idea on a napkin could win you $50,000 to start your journey towards growing a business.
That's fantastic.
I love it. Everything we do at Ben Franklin is, well, I'm biased, but I think we do some really cool stuff. And one of the things we're doing and really have been laser focused on for a long time are the Department of Community and Economic Development, DCED, run by or led by Rick Seiger, Secretary Rick Seiger, just authored a 10-year economic development plan for Pennsylvania. And the 5 pillars all align with the things that Ben Franklin does. So investing in technology companies, investing in advanced manufacturing companies, investing in agribusiness companies, investing in energy companies, investing in life sciences companies, and on and on and on. Quite literally, the Commonwealth has said, if you've got a big idea, we want to put money into it. And that's what we're here to help people do is to grow their future and grow the ecosystem and the economy around them.
Well, you mentioned Meet Ben. Is that
Ben.
Is that the best way to meet Brian?
That is the best way to meet Brian. Just go, again, Google Ben Franklin, Meet Ben Shenango, and you can meet me. Not that that's exciting, but you're going to really meet a lot of neat people on the Ben Franklin team. We'll be able to help you take your idea the very next step and, see where we can go. The Ben Franklin program, again, I'm totally biased, is really great. I mean, our whole mission is to find, support, invest in and then help grow entrepreneurial companies in order to grow a great entrepreneurial ecosystem around them.
Well, you kind of hinted about March. It sounds like it's going to be a busy third month of this new year for you.
We can't wait. And, in April, you know what happens April 8th?
Yes, big solar eclipse.
And talk to me. I mean, I'm already ready to go. I got my whole layout ready.
You got your glasses?
No, I don't have those yet, but I will get them.
Okay. Burn your eyes out.
Yeah.
Well,
Brian, we're having a lot of fun at Ben Franklin. Just Google us and we'll get you going.
And if folks have questions, what's the website they can go to?
benfranklin.org, and then select the county that you're in, and you'll get right to the right people.
Always great talking to you, Brian. Good seeing you this morning.
It's really great. Have a great trip next week, Luke, and we'll see you again late March.
Sounds good. Thanks, Brian.
Take care, everyone.